Hello, sixth graders. Welcome to lessons 3.5 and 3.6. In this video, you will learn what absolute value is and how to compare absolute values. Absolute value of a number is how far a number is away from zero on a number line. So, when asking to find the absolute value of -3, you would have -3 and then these two bars kind of keeping it in. So whenever you see that, that's telling me that I need to find the absolute value of the value that's inside of there. So how far is -3 away from 0? 1, 2, 3 jumps. So the absolute value of -3 is +3. It takes 3 jumps to get from -3 to 0. Let's look at some more examples. -32. If you picture that number line inside your head, think about how many jumps it's going to take to get from -32 to 0. It's going to take 32 jumps. Same thing goes with fractions. -2/3, the absolute value of that, the -3 2/3, the absolute value of that is 3 2/3. And the absolute value of -9 6/10 is 9 6/10. Same thing for when you see positive numbers and you're trying to find the absolute value of those. Thinking the same thing. How far is 32 away from 0? It's 32 jumps or units away. 3 2/3. Absolute value of that is 3 2/3. And 9 6/10. It's 9 6/10 units away from 0. Next, we're going to find all the numbers with the given absolute value. So think about it kind of backwards. I have the absolute value and I want to find the numbers that would equal that absolute value. So just as you've seen in the previous examples, when I have an absolute value of -32, it's 32. And when I have an absolute value of +32, it's also 32. So 18. If I'm trying to find the numbers that would equal that 18, I would have 18, +18, as well as -18. If I took the absolute value of those, I would get my 18. Same for 32 7/100. I would have +32 7/100 and whoa, that's a crazy 3. 32 7/100. And same thing for our mixed number over here. +11 4/7 and a -11 4/7. So you can think about they're opposites of each other on a number line, right? I have +4/7, -11 4/7, +18 and -18. They're opposites on the number line. They're exactly 18 units or jumps away from 0 on the number line. All right, let's move on to 3.6. This lesson is all about comparing absolute values. You don't have to write this word problem down, but I would like for you to copy down the number line and the table. Carmen is taking a one-day scuba diving class. Completion of the class will allow her to explore the ocean at elevations that are less than -25 feet. Use absolute value to describe the depths to which Carmen will be able to dive after taking her class. I just realized I spelled Carmen 2 different ways. Carmen with an E. All right. So we know that once she completes her class, she'll be able to go elevations that are less than 25 feet. Use absolute value to describe the depths to which Carmen will be able to dive after her class. All right, so at -25 feet, that's 25 feet underwater, she is right here. All right, so if she wants to explore elevations that are deeper, that means we're going to be going deeper into the negatives. So it can be any amount less than 25. So I can do 35 if I wanted to, negative 35. So she's at negative 35 feet below, which means that she has traveled 35 feet below the sea. So if you think about it, if you think about our absolute value, right, the top of the water, right, would be 0. So anything less is obviously a negative, but she is still traveling 35 feet from 0. Okay, so picking another elevation, it can be anything as long as it's less than 25. So let's do 50. She is negative 50 feet below sea level. So from the top of the water, 0, she's traveled 50 feet. All right, just going to keep going, picking random ones. Let's do 55 again, negative 55. So she's traveled 50 feet, the distance from the top to where she has stopped. And one last one, let's change it up. Let's do a negative 63, which means she's traveled 63 feet below sea level. So these are all the possible depths that Carmen can travel after she takes our class, and there's our absolute value. Let's look at the next problem. Cole has an online account for buying video games. His account balance has always been greater than negative $16. Use absolute value to describe Cole's account balance as debt. So debt is when you owe someone money, right? So Cole, his debt has been any number greater than negative $16. So that's saying that the most he's ever owed someone is $16. So use absolute value to describe Cole's account balance as debt. So we're trying to pick a number that would qualify in for that. So it's any amount greater than negative 16. So if I use my number line, here's negative 16, I can choose any amount to the right of negative 16 to describe a possibility of the amount that Cole could owe someone. So let's say I choose $13. So if he has a balance that's greater than negative $16, negative $13 would be greater than that. So that would be the same as owing someone $13. All right, I can choose negative $10, and that would be the same as owing someone $10. So we're taking the absolute value of his balance and transferring that to what it would look like for money. And I'll just say, I don't know, I'll do negative $7. And that would be the same as owing someone $7. So again, what this is saying is that the most he would ever owe would be $16, but there are possibilities that he could owe values that are greater than negative 16. So he could owe someone negative $13, which is greater than negative 16, and that translates to $13 that Cole would have to pay someone. All right, one last thing. We are going to be comparing absolute values. So negative 3, and then the absolute value of negative 3 over here is 3. So 3 is greater than negative 3. Absolute value of negative 4 6/10 is 4 6/10 positive. And absolute value of negative 4 7/10 is a positive 4 7/10, which is greater than 4 6/10. And over here, our last one, we have absolute value of negative 58, which is a positive 58, and therefore they are equal to each other. Ready for your practice problems? Well, ready or not, here they are. For number 1 and 2, I would like for you to compare. And for number 3, please put all of those values in order from least to greatest. All right, enjoy the rest of your day.